Well, it's day 2 at the Enform Petroleum Safety Conference in Banff. First speaker up today was Dr. Mark DeVolder. Mark, thank you very much for joining us here on ICANN Media.
Oh, thank you. It's a pleasure.
Perhaps you can give us a little bit of an overview as to the speech you gave just moments ago.
Yes, my presentation was focusing on navigating change and transition in the context of safety. So I was looking at how change can affect safety practices, and there can be resistance to change, and when there's resistance, then we find people disengaging, and if they're disengaged, then accidents can happen.
Well, you say there can be resistance. I think more often than not there is resistance to change, isn't it? Is that a generational thing right now, do you think?
I wouldn't say it's generational. I think every one of us, when confronted with some major change, there's going to be that first reaction of, oh no, what does this mean for me? And so that kind of reaction, what I tried to do today was try to help people understand that they will be reacting that way, that there will be, in a sense, a paralysis around change, and then how we can move forward and not stay in that stuck state for too long.
You talked about the oil industry and the economic downturn. Of course, safety is paramount now because there may be less people doing the jobs. How do you get people then to accept what is going on? Because that was one of the key messages that you had as well.
Well, I think it's important for people from top to bottom, from all the different parts of the industry. They need to recognize that you don't necessarily have to agree with what's going on, but we have to understand our reaction to that. And so it's helpful in terms of letting go of some of the old, accepting and letting go of the past. It's helpful for us to know that others understand how difficult that is. And so if even management says, we know this is a difficult change, we want to help you understand in terms of 3 key areas. What is the change? We want to articulate that very carefully. We want to talk with you about how this change is going to be different. And then thirdly, around who is gaining from this change and who's losing from that change. And if leadership can open up the dialogue with staff members around that, it shows that they understand the dynamics and the difficulty. And having done that, then that gives people gives them more tools to be able to say, okay, I may not like this, but I'm now more enabled to accept and let go.
One of the things that I was particularly keyed in on in your speech as well was the 5 things to ask yourself at the end, which is what you left us with. I was a little bit nervous when you slapped a rubber glove on your hand. That always makes me a little bit uncomfortable. But but tell us that, and we can end on that. The 5 questions that you should be asking yourself.
Yeah, well, the segue into that was how we can be more shift able. Are there decisions, are there problems that are holding us back? So I gave that as a model to help people think not only about their own indecision or indecisiveness, but maybe as a manager, they may see some of their staff members that are not able to make some decisions that need to be made. So the 5 questions around we're asking. So what's on your mind? What's happening in your life? What problems are there right now? And then secondly, after that, asking the staff member, so what options are you thinking about? And then, so there's a progression that moves the person through to finally being able to get a decision made. And I think question 4 was interesting in that if you had to decide today, what would you do? Pushes them to make a decision on that, and then finally, what are you going to do? Well, okay, I think I will take action on that. So,
which I thought was interesting, because if you're coming upon somebody who's obviously struggling with making a decision, and then you actually ask them, so what would you do today? And then they come up with an answer for themselves because they're not given the opportunity to sit and stew about it.
That's right, yeah. So it puts a little bit of a pressure, but again, it puts the onus on the individual for them to take responsibility for their own decisions. Yeah.
You closed up by talking about how you're encouraged by the oil industry and you're looking forward to seeing the changes that it makes. This is an industry that changes a lot, whether it's technology or, I mean, now we've got a different government in Alberta, which is, there's a lot of speculation that there will be change according to that as well. Do you get concerned about it at all when you see that there could be big sweeping changes coming here?
I see that these changes are not just affecting Canada; it's affecting the entire world. And just last month, I was speaking in Oman, so closer to the Middle East and the oil concerns there. I see everyone concerned. I see pressure for all industries, and certainly what happens in oil and gas in Alberta affects all of Canada, and it affects many people. So I think the challenges are going to be there. We just need to look at how do we individually respond, and how can we help our people to respond more proactively.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.